All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. I hope that you all can hear me well. Good evening. Good evening. We are on another experience with the Den. I'm excited, y'all, to be here tonight, to be with you all tonight. And so I'm excited to share in this experience, y'all. I'm excited. Do me a favor as you come in. I want you to make sure that you like, share, subscribe, whatever that you can do to keep up with the Den Destiny Emerge Nights. I am your host, KMJ. I'm excited, y'all, to be with y'all again. We are on week number 3 of this, which is really episode number 2. And we are excited, y'all. I am excited. I'm excited, y'all. As y'all come in, please do share and say something. Let me know. Say something. Say hello to me. Speak. Do something. But whatever you do, don't just sit there. But we're going to be rocking tonight. We're going to talk tonight. We're just going to speak from the heart tonight. And hopefully tonight will be an encouragement to you that are watching, that are listening, that are tuning in. So please, please, please make sure that you are sharing this. But definitely say hello to me. Speak up. Amen. Say something in here. For sure, for sure. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are in week 3 of this. Hello, Veronica. Good to see you tonight. Tuning in from YouTube. From YouTube. Awesome, awesome. I appreciate you tuning in tonight. Listen, I just started a YouTube channel, and so I need y'all to do me a favor. It should be in the description. I want you to definitely make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. We want to push that as much as we can. To build up on that. But good evening, y'all. Listen, I know some of us are getting ready to get into bed, get the kids ready for bed. I got kids, so they should be getting ready for bed as well right now. But we excited, y'all. I'm excited to be here tonight. In the den, y'all know how we do it. The den is a safe place. It's a place. It's a place where individuals that are looking for change, looking for development, looking for just inspiration, looking for something to be able to just continue to live life and pursue destiny. We want to make sure that we are doing that. But I definitely want y'all to say something to me tonight. Again, hello, hello, hello. As y'all come on in, I want y'all to definitely share this. If you see me look down, it's because I'm looking at my computer. But I want to make sure that we are in the building. If y'all can hear me, let me know y'all can hear me by saying I can hear you. But let me know that y'all can hear me and see me well. But I'm excited, y'all. These weeks have been challenging trying to get everything set, but we are live and we are kicking, and we're excited about it, y'all. But I'm gonna start in just a moment. Y'all, we started something last week that was so just amazing. We started something in our episodes entitled Against All Odds, and that conversation was real good last week, and I got good feedback from the conversation that we were talking about. So we're gonna keep on in this particular I would say season of a episode season of a conversation pertaining to us arising above all the things that we have been dealing with, all the things that we have went through to try to become who God called us to become, and we're still facing them even to this day. And so we want to make sure that we are having this conversation pertaining to this. And so this is going to be good, y'all. It's going to be dope. It's going to be live. It's going to be well, y'all. And I am excited about it. Again, I'm excited about it. So listen, for some reason I can't see all my comments, so I'm gonna pull my phone out. Good evening, grace and peace. Um, Pastor Cheatham, grace and peace to you. Um, Briggs, Linda Briggs, grace and peace to you. Blessings to Miss Walls, blessings, y'all. I'm excited, y'all. We are in here and we are ready to rock and roll. Listen, so we're gonna start tonight in this conversation. This is gonna be good. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be nice, and so we're gonna dive into this tonight. Um, Last week, man, it was something that was just crazy. Talking about the underdog syndrome, and how we often all deal with the underdog syndrome. Especially when it comes to trying to pursue destiny. I think that is a big piece that many of us, especially, are really coming from a background that was not as, I would say, an encouragement or one that will try to push you or one that will try to challenge you excuse me, to really go above and beyond. But I love the story of David and how David was considered the underdog, the one that they didn't expect, the one they still don't expect to become everything that God has destined, especially being the king of Israel and Judah. But so we're going to talk about this tonight, and we're just flipping over into the next chapter, which is in First Samuel 17. First Samuel 17, and this one's going to be good because First Samuel 17, this is a story that looks at the life of David and where David was in his life and how David excuse me was operating in his life, especially after just becoming anointed as the king. He has not been positioned as the king, but he's anointed as king. And even though he's anointing, he's still serving. He's still doing what is necessary. He's still living with his father. He's even playing the harp for David. I mean, not David, but Saul, because you know that after David got anointed, the spirit that was on Saul was lifted, and he was grieved, and David was in position to play. But I love First Samuel 17 because First Samuel 17 dive into something that was so powerful, and we're gonna talk about it tonight. I'm just going to read a verse, and then I'm just going to talk, y'all. We're going to deal with this tonight. And this is in verse 20. First Samuel 17, verse 20 says, David got up early in the morning and had someone else watch the sheep. He took the food and went as Jesse ordered his father. He went to the camp as the army was going out to battle, the battle line shouting their war cry. Israel, the Philistine Israel and the Philistines formed their battle lines facing each other. David, David left the supply behind in his hand, and of the quartermaster ran to the battle line and greeted his brothers. I want to talk, y'all, and we're going to talk about this in this conversation. I hope you was looking at the description. We talking about on this episode, y'all, beast mode, uh, the courage to conquer your giants. You know, I think that's deep right there. That's deep right there because beast mode. We got to talk about beast mode and the importance of beast mode because you know David was. We know that David was a shepherd. He was a shepherd. He attended to the sheep. And what's so crazy about it is that as David in First Samuel 17 is really arriving to serve his brothers and serve the king with some food that his father sent David with. And when he arrived there, this was a time of war that Israel was going through, y'all. It was a time of battle. It was a war that was really raging in with the children of Israel. And as the war is raging with the children of Israel, we start to see through all of this that David is coming and to serve his brothers. And while he's serving his brothers for 40 days prior to David arriving, we see that Israel and Philistine was going back and forth. It was going back and forth. And all of a sudden, here come the champion of the Philistines arriving on the scene. And he stands and he taunts Israel and say, listen, y'all send me y'all best warriors. I don't care who they is. If y'all can defeat me, then you know, we'll come and be your slave. But if I defeat you, then y'all can come and be our slave. And so this was going on for 40 days. And then David, after this going on for 40 days, arrived to serve, and he overhears what's going on. And while he's overhearing, he left all of his food with the quartermaster. And all of a sudden, when he left the food, David is being nosy, trying to find out why all this stuff was going on, why the battling, why all this yelling, why the war cry going on. And when he finds out that when he arrives over there where his brothers was to greet them, he finds out that Goliath, that giant, was literally taunting Israel, was literally mocking Israel, was literally just being loud and obnoxious. And while all of this was going on, David begins to overhear, because I'm gonna get to this conversation that's gonna be deep. David begins to hear Saul's reward, and he hears Saul's reward about fighting. If someone was to fight Goliath, they was going to receive a reward. And while he was listening to Saul's reward, all of a sudden David begins to recognize, watch this, the Philistine. He began to recognize Goliath. He began to recognize that big giant that was literally in the way of him getting the reward. This is what David begins to deal with. Now, here is something that we got to talk about, because all of us in our life, as we pursue our destiny, as we're trying to really go forward, we all face what I would consider beasts or giants, or something that is within our way to try to keep us from moving into our purpose or moving into our destiny. And what I see here is that David was so intrigued by the reward that David was willing to fight the giant to get the reward. He was willing to fight the giant to get in position. And so I want to give like a few things that I think in the den tonight that will kind of help us to really undergird and really understand what it means to deal with these beasts, because we all got them. We all got beasts in our life. We all got giants in our life. We all got issues that are trying to really stifle our ability to really move forward. We all have them in our life. And so I want to unveil some things to help us understand this, especially in our den tonight. Okay, here goes. If we're going to really overcome the giants in our life or the beast in our life, here's the first thing I want you to catch is that you got to name your beast. You got to identify your beast. You got to identify what's in your way. You got to identify that. That's key. Would you do me a favor? I want y'all to put that in the chat. I want you to put in the chat. I got to identify my beast. I got to identify my beast, because here is something that you got to understand, that all destinies, every person that has a destiny has something that is what I would call a disruptor. We all have destiny disruptors. And what I would consider like destiny and disruptors. Destiny disruptors are any and everything that is solely focused to destroy our destiny pathways. Any and everything that is solely out to destroy our destiny pathways. In other words, anything that is trying to hinder us from really pursuing or really becoming or really operating and what God has really destined for all of us. I mean, let's just be honest. We all have what I would call destiny disruptors. We have beasts that are in our way. We have giants that are in our way that is really trying to fight against what God is calling us to be. And this I want you to catch. Giants are disruptors to your purpose. Giants are disruptors to your purpose. What are giants? Like, giants are things that are blocking our future. Destiny disruptors. They are things that are trying to hinder us from moving in purpose. And one thing that while I was like preparing for just our talk, y'all, our conversation, something that hit me is that how can we really identify our giants? Because the truth of the matter is, most of us don't even know that we got giants in our life, because we think giants are things that we can see or notice all the time. The truth is, things that we don't know or not aware of are considered giants in our life that are trying to hinder us from really moving forward. We have giants. We have things that are in our way, things that try to hinder us, things that are trying to stifle us. And so if we're going to identify the giants, if we're going to name the giants in our life, here's something I want you to catch here. We must consider what obstacles have halted our progress. Where in our life where we stop moving? Where in our life where we stop progressing? Where in our life where we stop being excited about pursuing destiny? Where? I'm gonna give you a second to think about that. I'm gonna give you a second to think about that while I can drink some water, because this is gonna be real. Well, I'm gonna slow this down for you. It's gonna be real, because all of us at some point, especially if you're in this conversation tonight and you're listening, somewhere along the line, you have something what I call chronicle struggles. You have chronicle struggles. You have chronic struggles. You have issues that are repetitive, chronic struggles, things that keep coming back, problems that keep coming back. So, what seems like every season, because it's funny, the truth is, some of us during these particular seasons, there are certain things that seem to keep happening, certain relationships that keep going, stifling, certain things that really try to stop us from moving forward. So where in your life where you start to fall? I guarantee you that if you can identify that, that's probably a giant. Let's even take it a step further. Let's look at the promises and the prophetic word of our life. where we receive the word about moving forward, but it seems like the word we receive is not aligning to our life. You might got a giant. Where can we pinpoint the disconnect between what we have written on our papers or we have strategized for in us actually obtaining that? Disruptors. Something along the line of your life is disrupting your ability to even become everything that you are supposed to become. David is in between transition becoming the king, and there is a giant that is in between the reward that David is trying to go after. What is in your way? Matter of fact, I'm gonna take it a step further because this is about to get real. We eating here tonight. This is about to get real. Here it is. Y'all ready? You got to learn to pay attention, because if I'm going to find the giants in my life, I must pay attention to triggers in my life. What makes me frustrated? What is keeping me depressed? What's keeping me angry? Because oftentimes these are indicators that there is some type of stronghold or some type of giant that's in your life. Here's something that I'm finna throw a curveball here. Because the truth of the matter is, like, when we think about the giants that come in our life, giants often emerge from destructive thought patterns. Giants often emerge from destructive thought patterns, things that come in our life that are destructive to our thoughts. Something's hindering us. There is something that's keeping you from progressing, something that's keeping you from moving forward. And the enemy comes in your mind, your destructive mindset, your destructive thoughts, to bring hindrance. Because oftentimes our giants come from our thinking, what we think, how we perceive our own life, how we perceive where we are, how we perceive where we're supposed to be going. We have giants in our life. Matter of fact, you may not even think that, but let's look at Numbers chapter 13, verse 33, where the children of Israel, they were in a position where they had to go into the promised land, and they had to scout it out. They had to look, they had to find out what's there. And while they are scouting it out and while they're looking in the land, the Bible says that they had came back after spending 40 days there. And when they came back after spending 40 days, in that conversation, they were talking about what was going on. You will see and notice that while they're having this conversation, that they said to Moses that we look like grasshopper in our own eyes. Yeah, the land is good, but we look like grasshopper in our eyes. Yeah, it looks like it's pleasing, but yeah, we look like grasshoppers in our eyes, which do reveal, watch this, that because of their destructive mindset, they form giants in their perspective. Because they not only they say that, they said that we look like grasshoppers, but they perceive that the giants saw them as grasshoppers, which means that most of our giants come from how we perceive our own self, our life, where we are, what's happening. This is y'all want to talk to me. This is a good conversation. This is good. While y'all in here, I want y'all to share this. Somebody got to hear this conversation. Somebody has to hear this conversation. We conjure up in our lives destructive thoughts, watch this, that magnify our obstacles and minimize God's power. I'm gonna say it again. I'm rapping. I'm a rapper. That's my second calling. I'm playing. Giants are conjured in our lives when destructive thought patterns magnify obstacles and minimize God's power. That's powerful there. Because the way we think, the way we perceive, the way we interpret, the way we see things It's through it's through our minds. And if our mindset is so destructive, we start magnifying our issues greater than God's power working in our lives. That's why many of us can't get to that level that God got for us. That's why we struggle trying to walk in those things and walk in what God called us, because we are facing those giants, and those giants are trying to destroy us, trying to manipulate us, trying to break us down. I hope this is good, y'all. I hope this is good, because that's exactly where we are in our life right now. This is what David had to deal with. He had to identify the giant, because you can't conquer something you won't put a name to. Ooh, that's, I told y'all, don't let me warm up. You can't conquer something you don't put a name to. If you can't put a name on it, then how can you defeat it? How can you destroy the thing that is in your way that you're not aware of? Awareness is necessary if you are going to defeat the things that are in your way. And most of us, giants start emerging in our lives in places where we once had faith, once had strength to move on, once had the ability to move forward. Giants start forming in those areas because we were excited. But here come uh a giant causing doubt to arise to try to manipulate your future. This is what's happening. So David there, he identifies the giant. He identifies him. He puts a name to Goliath. He's a beast. He's a giant. He identifies him. And here's something that's crazy is that while he was sitting there talking to uh and listening to what was and talking to the other warriors and other soldiers that were out there, his older brother uh listened into the conversation. And it says, even in, I believe this is in around verse number 25, verse 24, 25, David literally had this conversation, and his older brother arrives and start to taunt David, talk about him, say, listen, you supposed to be giving us some food. You out here trying, you out here trying to gain reward, and you ain't doing your job. And what's crazy about it is that the Philistine, the giant Goliath, was taunting everybody in Israel, even his brother. And his brother had to be afraid because out of those 40 days, his brother never took the initiative to want to try to fight Goliath. But when David's brother saw David, watch this, deciding to take control of his future by identifying the giant that was in his way of getting his reward, his brother start to try to stop the progression in David's life. Oh my God. Trying to limit his future by trying to make him afraid of the giant that's in front of him. Let me say it like this. If we are going to defeat the giants in our life, we got to first identify those giants. We got to know who they are, where we lost our drive. But we also got to not allow naysayers, watch this, to stop the momentum of us defeating some things in our life. It's so ironic that people, that you used to hang with, and you used to be around, and you used to do certain things and have fun, and then all of a sudden when you got control of your life and your future and your destiny and what you believe God called you to do and where you was trying to go, they try to remind you of your past. They try to pull you backwards. They try to tell you don't take all that. They try to tell you don't even do all this. They try to tell you the business won't work. They try to tell you that God ain't gonna favor your life. They try to do any and everything to move you backwards from trying to move forward. They do any and everything. They'll do any and everything to try to get you to a place where you no longer is progressing in your own life. I hope this makes sense, y'all. They try to do any and everything. Here is something you got to catch. Limited beliefs shouldn't limit you. Let me say that again. That's rich. Limited beliefs should not limit you. What does this mean? In other words, don't allow other people's limitations of their own life and their own perspective limit you from moving into what you or what God has destined for your life. Because the truth of the matter is, we all got those naysayers. We got people that just want to see us fall, see us fail, see us crumble. They themselves are so afraid to move forward. They try to put you in the same boat as them. This is good. This is good. Here's something that like David did, and I believe that is so rich. David had a warrior mentality. And a warrior mentality is a refusal to let fear, limitations cage you from your destiny. He had a warrior mentality where he was not going to allow fear and limitations to limit his destiny. And many of us, we've been having a cowardly mindset. We need to have a warrior mindset because we've allowed too many different things, too many opinions, too many perspectives, too many things to hinder us from being able to move forward. But you got to have a mindset that, like David, listen, I don't care what you say. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you try to do. I will not be stopped. I got to move forward. I have to conquer the giants that's in my life because destiny is so big in my life that it's necessary that I don't quit. I don't allow your opinion to smother my my ability to move forward. I cannot allow other people's opinions, perspective to stifle my future. Oh my God, this is it. You got to overcome that. Here's David, the one that has made a decision. He is saying within himself, I fight this giant. I deal with this giant. I go after this giant. And here come doubt, familiarity, all of this coming to stop him from being able to obtain those things that he believed that he can get. That's all the enemy wants to do, is stifle you, stop you, limit you, push you back. Oh my God. Oh my God. This ain't, see, this is the time to break out. I want you to put in the comments, I can't allow nobody's opinion to stop me. Come on. Put that in the comment. I cannot allow nobody's opinion of my future, my destiny, my calling, no giant, no person to stop me from moving to what God called me to do. I can't allow that to happen. I refuse to allow that to happen. And here David is literally, y'all, David is literally dealing with mess like that. I was talking on Sunday at church, and I said we got to have an examination because some of us, we got the wrong people in our corner. We need a winning team. And every season, here's something I'm gonna teach y'all in the den. I'm gonna drop this tonight for you. In every season, you need to evaluate people in your life, because every person that in your life are not welcome to every season. And sometimes we allowing people in our season that don't have uh, our best potential at heart. I hope this makes sense, man. We gotta win in this season. And here it is. David is literally saying, listen, I don't care what you got to say. Matter of fact, the scripture says, if you go ahead and read the story, the scripture says that David, after he hearing this, he stopped his brother in mid-track and was like, hold up, bro. Hold up. You weren't thinking about this. You weren't thinking about doing none of this. And now that I'm voicing my opinion, you now got something to say? This giant been here this whole time. Now you got something to say? This giant been here talking. Now you got something to say? My God. And watch what happened, y'all. After he says this, after he deals with that, after he has this conversation with his brother, he goes and he keep requesting and asking people, hey, listen, did Saul say that I can get a reward for doing this? And watch this. David within himself in verse 27, verse 28. Let me look at it here. Verse 29, it says, what have I done now? This David snapping off. Then he turns his face to another man, ask him, hey, what's going on? Verse 31 says, what David said was overheard, and Saul now end up hearing this. Now, here's something crazy, is that David is prepared and ready to fight. It's like, listen, I'm about to fight. We finna throw these blows. We can't, I'm not finna go through all of this. And watch this. And while he is having this conversation, Saul overhears David having this conversation with these men. He had hearing this conversation going on. And now Saul says, listen, you can't fight him because you're not prepared. You can't fight him because you ain't strong enough. You can't fight him because you don't know how to handle a big person, a giant like that. And watch what David said. David says in the conversation, he said, first of all, you don't know what I come from. My fighting skills, watch this, are already been developed. Because I was fighting lions, I was fighting bears, I was fighting all of this. And that giant is no different. He a beast. David bad. He a beast. He considered Goliath a beast like the lions and those bears. He said, listen, I saw how I got victory through the strength of God before. If God gave me the strength to do it then, he's going to give me the strength to do it now. If I'm going to defeat the giants in my life, you got to first of all understand that this ain't the first giant you overcame. There's some stuff in your past, in your life, in your previous season that could have destroyed you. This ain't a Sunday preaching message. This is something I want to empower y'all with. Could have destroyed you. Could have defeated you. Could have snatched you back. But you overcame that. And if you overcame that, you can overcome this. If God delivered you before, you got to have faith he can do it again. This is what David said. David said, listen, God allowed me to win against the giants of my past. I fought lions that were bigger than me. I fought bears that were bigger than me. And every single one I fought died. And it wasn't because of my strength, it was because of God. And here's a key factor is that no giant in your life can be destroyed without the strength of God. I don't care how many strategies you put together. I don't care how many plans you put together. I don't care how many things you put on your board. I don't care how many things that you try. You will not be able to defeat the giant in your life without the help of God. And David realized that. David realized that if I am going to win against these giants in my life, if I am going to defeat these giants in my life, I got to have God. I'm reminded of the fact that if he brought me out before, we going to win again. I want you to put in the comments there, I'm going to win again. Come on. If God brought you out before, you're going to win again. I don't care if you failed. I don't care if you went through a season where it was difficult. You did not get defeated. You was not defeated. You were not destroyed because it was God's hand that was on your life. He protected you. He kept you. And that's the thing that we got to realize if we're going to defeat these giants. Because you've been saying for long enough. Watch this. You've been saying long enough. I'ma do it. I'ma do it. I'ma step out here. I'ma do it. And you ain't done it yet. Because you feel like you are inadequate. You gotta be like, David, listen, if God allowed me to beat those giants before he's gonna allow me to beat this giant, even in my life right now. God giving you the strength. And here's something I love is that after Saul hears all that, y'all, he hears that conversation. He hears David's rebuttal about the fact that he won against lions. He won against bears. So I said, okay, you know what? All right, you can fight him. And if you win, you can get the reward. And Saul said, okay, listen, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go get my armor. Put my armor on to fight against the giant. The Bible said David put on the armor of Saul. He put it on, and when he put it on, he didn't know how to move in it. David didn't know how to move in it because, watch this, not only it was Saul's armor, but he never was trained in that armor. What am I trying to tell you? That if you are going to defeat a giant in your life, you first of all got to realize you can't defeat a giant in somebody or under somebody else's gift. Trying to defeat challenges through someone else's gift doesn't work. Trying to defeat, watch this, challenges in your life that somebody else went through may not work for you in this season. Because David literally put on Saul's armor and couldn't move because he wasn't developed to move in that. He didn't have the body type and the shape of Saul. He wasn't as tall as Saul, as strong or as muscular as Saul. His body shape was different, and David couldn't move in it because he was not trained in it. If you're going to defeat a giant in your life, you got to be okay at being able to move in the strength God gave you. Because a lot of times, here it is, it's going to get deep right here. A lot of times we conform. Because what I love about David said, listen, I don't know nothing about this armor. What I'm not going to do is try to fight a giant and fight him in something I wasn't trained in. How are you going to try to defeat the next season without properly being trained? How are you going to defeat the things that are in your life without properly being developed? Because the worst thing you can do is trying to move forward on someone else's grace, somebody else's strength. David said, listen, two things here. I'm not going to put on somebody else's clothes, nor am I going to discount what God already trained me for. If I'm gonna kill a beast, I gotta have on beast clothes. I gotta have on beast armor. I gotta have beast weapons. So David said, "Listen, I'm not gonna conform just because." Matter of fact, this just dropped on me right here. This just dropped on me. Saul was king. David was anointed to be king. Although David was anointed to be king, and he was putting on king clothes, just because he was anointed, he wasn't prepared for the clothes that he was supposed to be wearing. It wasn't his time yet. Some of us be trying to move past our time. We're trying to move into it prematurely. We're trying to walk into it prematurely. And God is saying, no, this season, don't try to rush into it. You got to embrace where you are, your assignment, your grace, your gifts, your call. God has given you everything you need in your life to defeat the giants that are in your way. And you got to be okay. You got to be okay with that. Here's something I want to say it like this. You have a unique giants assigned specifically for you to conquer. with the grace God gave you. Oh, 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 man, I don't know. What if I don't? No, God already gave you the grace to do it. What if this? God already gave you the grace to do it. What about? No, God has already given you the grace to do it. How do you know? Because you survived. If you survived other previous seasons, He's already equipped you to survive this one. My God. He's already given you everything that you need to survive this one. And David said, listen, I know how to handle beasts, so I'd rather use the tools I have that already killed beasts. Let me take a slingshot. Let me take what I already know to fight against something I've already know. See, David was familiar with beasts, and he is saying within himself, I'm not going to sit here and try to fight a beast. Hear me. I'm not going to try to fight a beast with tools that I don't know. I haven't been trained in. I got to fight these beasts. Maybe your prayer life may not be the next person, but watch this. God to answer your prayers. Oh, I don't have the education like they got. God to still use your mind. Oh, I don't know it like this. God is still, why? As long as you have a mindset like David, I ain't gonna let nothing stop me. This is your season to kill the giants in your life. But until you no longer see yourself as a grasshopper, you will always allow the giants that are in your way to cloud your judgment and your ability to move forward. People lose their individuality when they're trying to be accepted by other people. David said, I ain't finna do that. I'm not going to put on your clothes just so you can say I look like a warrior. I'm not going to put on your clothes so that way you can say I look like somebody that defeat. No. With what I got and what I've been through and what I've gained, that's grace. That's all that I need to defeat the giants that are in my life. My God. This is your season to defeat the giants. This is your season to win, but you can't win until you embrace your unique self. You can't win until you embrace the gifts, the call, and the power that God has already given you. Jeez. That's rich. That's rich. Let me say it like this. I just want to even dive a little bit deeper. I'm going to move on, y'all. I want to dive a little bit deeper because many of us, we are so used to a conformist type of mentality or life. We're used to conforming. How do you know? Because we're terrified of stepping up and walking out there. We are afraid to be perceived as being odd. But when you know your destiny, you don't care what's in your way. You don't care what's trying to stop you. You'll move forward anyway because you know the call that is over your life. You will no longer allow yourself to be terrified because you don't look like what they want you to look like. Oh, I hope this is good. I hope this is good to somebody. David said, listen, I am not going to allow myself to put on the armor. And Saul said to David, listen, okay, all right, go ahead. Do you. And what I love about David before he even began to go out there, he had within his mind that I'm about to go kill, I'm about to fight this giant. I'm about to fight this beast. I got my beast tools with me, my weapons that's going to go up against the beast. But the thing that I realized the most, this is what David, if I'm going, watch this, if I'm going to beat this beast, I just can't rely on my skills alone. I got to rely on the strength of God. So David said within himself that if I'm going to win this battle, I got to have faith. Watch this, more in God than my abilities, than what I know. If I'm going to defeat this giant, I got to rely on the strength that God has already given me. And I just feel to say this is that some of y'all are in a position right now where your life is literally is going to be uh utilized to destroy generational giants that has been in your way. Not only in your way, your family's way. I mean generational giants. What you mean? What do you mean by generational giants? The same giant that's stopping you is stopping your mama, is stopping your siblings, is stopping your nephews, is stopping your children. David was not just fighting, coming against a giant that was trying to fight him. No, he was coming against a giant that was trying to stop Israel, that was trying to eliminate or destroy the way of Israel. So David said within himself, if I'm going to fight this generational giant, if I'm going to fight this generational barrier, I got to have God on my side. David had more faith in God than he did in his ability to fight beasts. This is good. No giant is too big for God. Let me say it again, because some of us, we miss stuff like that. Let me say it. Here it is for the person that just tuned in. Uh, no giant is bigger than our God. There is nothing that's bigger than our God. In other words, when I realize who's on my side, I won't allow a giant that's in my natural life to destroy or to stop me, because I know who's the biggest giant in my spiritual life, which is my Father. My God, the greatest one. And what I love about David is that when he realized that, he understood something that was so powerful, that if we're going to defeat these giants, especially in this season, we have to learn to do something like David did. We have to see ourselves as God's empowered champion. Meaning that David said, you can give me this. I get the rocks. I get the slingshot. I know how to throw it. But all my throwing is nothing unless I've been empowered by God. All of my strategy is nothing unless I'm being empowered by God. All of my plans is nothing unless I'm being empowered by God. See, a part of being in beast mode is knowing where your strength comes from. A part of being in beast mode, I'm talking about you rising to the occasion, you having the warrior mentality and ready to step up and ready to take back your life and ready to eliminate any giants that have been in your way. The only way that you can come into that conclusion of a type of life is that you got to realize, here it is, that if I'm going to rise up in my beast mode, my in my gift, my calling, my destiny, I got to know where my strength come from. David said, I killed the lion because I know where my strength come from. I destroyed the bear because I know where my strength come from. And many of us, we think our strength come from TikTok. 10 steps to be a millionaire. We think our strength come from education and school. No, that's just tools. But how do we apply? It's not that your ability to properly apply something in your life comes by you understanding where your strength comes from. And I know my strength comes from God. And David said within himself, listen, I ain't finna let y'all stop me. Y'all plans, y'all not gonna stop me, because I know who my Father is. I know who my God is. And when David started to see that he was see himself as God's empowered champion, he allowed God's strength to work in his life. Here's a key factor about walking in the place of what I would call like beast mode, and being able to accept and embrace and defeating those giants in your life, is when I wrap my mind around that God is my strength. Watch this. Then all fear will no longer harbor my life, my future. Because many of us, we've been afraid to really come out and step out. We've been afraid to really step forward and conquer and defeat things and overcome things. We've been afraid for years. No, but this is your time. This is your time to truly walk in it. This is your time to really rise up and be like David. I'm not going to allow this giant to taunt me, my family, the kingdom. I'm taking it back. But if I'm going to take it back, I know that if God is before me, then who in the world can be against me? Because I know I know where my strength comes from. If I'm going to defeat the giant, I got to know where my strength comes from. Oh my God. Do me a favor, put that in the comments. Say, I know where my strength comes from. I know where my strength comes from. I know where my strength comes from. I know I ain't running away. I know where my strength comes from. And this is what I love about the story, y'all, that David ended up doing. That while David was recognized where his strength come from, here's something that was very powerful. When he recognized where his strength come from, he was able to defeat what they couldn't defeat. They couldn't defeat him in 40 days, so he defeated him in that moment. See, can I tell you, the giants in your life is ready to, they're ready to crumble. They're ready to fall. But when you know where your strength come from, until you know where your strength come from, they'll remain to be there. And David said, listen, I am not going to allow the plan of the enemy to stop me in this season. I know where my strength come from. Here's the conclusion of the story, is that when David realized that, and now he's fighting Goliath. Goliath couldn't even throw a blow. The only thing that David had to do is throw one smooth stone and killed him instantly. What am I trying to tell you? He said, if we're going to win this season, we got to know, watch this, that the giants that are in our life are doing nothing but taunting us. The Bible tells us that Satan, the devil, goes about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. In other words, he looks like a lion, but he's not one. He sounds like one, but he's not one. And this is when you know you have hit your beast mode, is when you've now stepped out to destroy those giants that has been in your way for so many years. I guarantee you that what you think is going to take long, God said it's been talked the whole time. When you have the faith to stand up and take back your life from addictions, from things that have been trying to smother you, from generational barriers, when you're ready to step up, God says it won't take long, because all it's been doing is taunting you, making you afraid, making you stop the momentum so you can't obtain what God got for you. But now that you're ready to step up and conquer the giants in your life, I guarantee you, you're going to win. And David, in the end, ended up winning. This is your season to step in beast mode, y'all. This is your season to step up in the beast mode. Take your life back. Take your life back. Take your life back. Be the real you, because God gave you the grace to defeat all the giants that have been in your way, in your family's way. Be the real you. Be authentic. Identify your giant. And I guarantee you, you're going to win in the end. This is something I want you to just think about even as you're dealing with, because y'all know Thanksgiving coming up. I hope y'all got good Thanksgiving food coming. Oh, my God. I hope y'all ready to eat, because it's going to be, I know I'm ready to eat and go to sleep. But if we're going to win against these giants, you got to consider, you got to think about those obstacles, those cycles in your life. What's keeping you hindered? And I guarantee you that when you realize that and you're able to identify that in your life, you'll be able to overcome and keep moving forward, finding your destiny. That's it, y'all. David found that when he defeated the giant, here's something that's very powerful. David thought the giant was in his way, but the giant was his way into the kingdom. Let me say it again. David may have thought the giant was in his way, but the giant was a key to him getting into the kingdom. And God is saying, when you finally defeat the giant in your life, he said, God is saying, I use even a giant to be a key to your next season, to your next level. Oh my God. And that's how you know this is your season to walk into it. I appreciate y'all hanging with me tonight. I know it's Thanksgiving week, and many of us are getting ready for Thanksgiving. So I understand it's Tuesday night. But listen, we're going to keep rocking. Because in the den, we need encouragement, because we have a destiny. And those that are bold enough to emerge and take on their destiny are the ones that's going to conquer their giants in our life. And I guarantee you, this is a season that you got to conquer your giant. Listen, don't do me a favor. Make sure you like, subscribe, y'all. Definitely go like my subscribe to the YouTube channel. Keep up with what we're doing here. There's so many different things that's going to come. I'm telling y'all, stick with this. It's going to get even more and more crazier. I appreciate y'all. Until we meet again. Listen, I want to say my last goodbyes to everybody that hung out with me, my cousins, my family, my wife. Miss Veronica, thank you for hanging with me. Y'all are amazing, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Listen, y'all true soldiers. And I'm telling you, this is your season to obtain everything God got for you. So I appreciate y'all hanging, rocking, moving, doing it. We in the den. And I guarantee you there's more to come in the future. Until next time, y'all take care. Peace.